Hello and welcome to Q for Q, the Queer Person Lads podcast. I will be your host, Haley. I am a they-them archivist in Washington, D.C. And I want to start off by saying this show is not for children. What does that mean? Well, don't let your child listen to it if they don't want to hear swear words, sexual fantasies, kinks, and or awful stuff that may come out of our mouths. And, like, some stuff isn't awful, it's just not for children, you know? Mm-hmm. And also, I just wanted to ask everyone to subscribe, share, and rate the podcast where you're listening to it. I super appreciate you getting me out into the other queer areas. So with me today is my friend Lauren, and housemate as well.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
God, I'd hate it. But you know what? I think I can do it for you, Haley.
Thanks,
I can
Lauren.
do it. What's up? I'm Lauren. I'm a she/her snarkivist, which is something I made up this morning, and I still don't know what it means.
Love that.
I don't really social media that much, but as I wrote to myself earlier, you can yodel at me on the Twitter at Baca. Okay, like how OKAYBACA. I mostly just like things and don't post that much. But I think a lot about doing a lot of art things. I don't know, like I think about world building and making webcomics a lot. So that's where I would put it. So follow me there and you might see something.
Exciting.
Do you know what world building is? It's like what like J.R.R. Tolkien with like Lord of the Rings did, like, you know, making the maps and stuff and like building the world.
Yeah.
What else did I write down? I'm a budding piano and banjoist, an avid StarCraft watcher, and Kroger brand wine sommelier.
Incredible. Honestly, your wine is way better than Kroger, I feel like.
No, I feel like my sommelierness is like off-brand, you know, because I'm not a sommelier. Me
either. I just enjoy drinking.
Yeah.
So anyway, Lauren is here to help me choose between all of the eligible batches. Mm-hmm. And so can you guess what today's theme is? You know
I can guess since it has been told to me. It is fairy tales.
It is fairy tales. So strap into your saddles because we're about to find some prince/scissor charmings and on some horses.
We are going to find some PRINC and then dash line prinks.
Charmings.
Prink charmings.
Prink or what, twink charmings?
Twink charmings.
Twink
oh,
charmings?
mamma mia.
Maybe first things first.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren, have you ever written or replied to a personal ad?
Okay, so I was going to say no, but I listened to the first 5 minutes of the most recent episode, and your guest said that they made a Bumble, and that counted in their brain, so I was like, oh, okay. I think I made a Coffee Meets Bagel page once. I did not get any responses, but that is like, you know, writing about yourself and trying to describe yourself and seeking out someone else, so that does make sense.
Do you remember anything that, like, you put on there? Would you...
I remember I'm kind of cringing in hindsight. So you know, like how on like DVD boxes they'll be like best film ever, New York Times. It's really I did that for me, but it was like yeah, it was bad.
What year is this?
We're not gonna.
Okay.
Too recent.
Too recent. To be, okay.
A lifetime ago, and yet
in
longer. Numbers, unfortunate.
No,
just
I feel
unfortunate.
That. Yeah, it happens. Did you want to try your hand at like what would you put in your personal ad, or?
I feel like I would just like list my interests and like I feel like I know what I wouldn't do, having read the prompts today where people are like, you gotta be this, and this, and this. I'm like, I don't like being put in this box as the reader.
Yeah.
Like, this feels weird. So I would not do that to anyone. I would just be like, yo, I like music. I play the banjo. Someone was like, muscular. If you have pecs, that's an A+. For me, it's like, if you like StarCraft, that's an A+.
I like that. That's
yeah.
Good.
A little foreshadowing for the audience, so that this is to hook them in until they stay for the rest of the episode.
Exactly.
Now that they know what's coming.
Yeah.
But only a little bit.
Only a tad.
We might talk about Dune later on, that hit new movie.
The hit new movie Dune.
You know what? Having seen these ads, I will add that I do like touching. Since someone specified that they like touching.
I think that is a very important... A lot of people do not like
I'm super physical.
Yeah.
Physical.
So, disclaimer. The views expressed in these personal ads are not my own or Lauren's. Some of the ads are from eras with very different ideas about race, bodies, and what it means to be part of the LGBTQ community. While I do not take these things lightly and will do my best to address them as I see them, I am also here to make fun of the thirsty, pining, and sometimes ridiculous queer lonely hearts sent out into the world.
Unlike most gay men, I don't believe in a prince or a knight who will appear and together we will live in eternal bliss. Nor do I feel that it takes another person to make me a complete individual. A relationship is the union of two complete individuals who share certain common bonds, believe in commitment, and share both the good times and hardships of life together. I'm seeking to date other GWMs in the hope of finding that particular someone who can grow with me in all aspects of life. I am a tall, slender, musk, prof, GWM, 35, who enjoys conversation, politics, travel, dining out, movies, working out in the gym, and believes that the sexual experience is one filled with intense romance, affection, and mutual desire to fulfill each other's needs. I am seeking a prof GWM 27 to 42 who is mature, financially stable, and in shape. If he has pecs, that is a plus. If interested, reply Blade Box K949.
It's so long. I like
so
that.
long and so listy.
It's very
so
listy.
Dwight Schrute.
It is very
It's
Dwight
like
Schrute.
he's like hardworking, alpha male, jackhammer.
I could not read it that way when I was going through it. It was just like, I was like in the desert of like a list. Like there was no end in sight. And just when you think you got to the final item with that and, you realize that that and has a list within it.
Yeah, that's very true. Oh my god. And he only had to pay $12 per week for this. It's not
What?
Yeah, it's not based on whether it's not based on words, which a lot of ads are. So it's like $12 per week and then $10 per week for 3 or more issues. So like I feel like you spend like a $42 like fee. He got the Blade box, so that's $2 per issue if you pick up, or $4 if you wanted them delivered.
So what is a Blade Box?
Blade box. So this is from, I forgot to say, this is from the DC Gay Blade, or it's the Washington Blade, November 11th, 1988. So it was solely named the Blade at this time. And, well, it's stupid. Yeah. So a Blade box is something like, instead of listing your full address to receive your personal ads or your like replies, it would just go to like, it's kind of like a PO box. And so you can come pick it up and like, or you can have it shipped first class mail to your home. And that's what's the $4 fee. And it would have to be first class because I think at this point it could be intercepted by the post office and read, and then you could be outed and whatnot.
Oh, ooh. I've just been thinking about Gay Blade being related to Beyblades. That's just while you've been saying that.
It's really not, but I put this in fairy tale even though it's more like anti-fairy tale because he's like, I'm not expecting some prince with a white horse into the sunset. I think it still fits.
I thought this is the only one I think where it starts out saying what he is not, which I thought was a very interesting way to, because these ads are really, really interesting because it's like, what other situations do you like write about? How do you describe yourself? And like, what are your choices in doing that? So their choice was to like, well, I'm not these people who think this.
Right.
Which is kind of a person I would not want to be, personally. I don't know. That's so antagonistic in a way.
If he is seeing people around him who are like, we're gonna live in eternal bliss, and like, it takes another person to like make me complete, and he's like, nah, with that.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Too much.
And I should say, later on, we will see someone who is very the opposite of this person.
Very true.
And what a hero she is.
Yes. We all have our preferences, and you know what? It's better to get it out. The one thing that really stuck out to me as well was the fact that he's like, I'm not looking for any man to be perfect. And then he like lists a ton of things, which I feel like a lot of people end up doing in ads because it's like, I know that you're not, like, looking for someone to be perfect. Maybe, like, you're like, I'm open to it, but also, like...
I've been in a situation, I think, where, like, those, like, dating apps are like, oh, what do you want in another person? And, like, for me, I'm always like, I've never thought about this. I'm just like, you know, if I connect with someone, I connect with someone.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I'm like, okay, well, I have to fill this out. And then I just start the list, and, like, I was never going to be big, but then all of a sudden it just goes and goes and goes and goes. And, like, you could be any one of these, but that's not how it comes off. It comes off as, like, you need to be all of these.
Right. And
you know?
That's, yeah. These are things that, like, would be cool or whatever, but, like, and also... you only have so much space in a paper, which is, like, a little bit difficult.
Well, not this guy, apparently. It was
well,
$12 to get a fucking...
$12.
Mamma mia.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
just the way the guy is, like, so picky. Well, I get maybe they're not a man, but, maybe they're just mask, but,
no, I mean, it's gay white man.
Oh, true.
So it is a man.
True. It's
At
1988.
least at the point in 1988.
Yeah, I don't know. I just seem like someone that I would not like personally, just because they're like, I'm not this kind of person. I don't like those kinds of people. So I'm not that. This is who I am. This is who you have to be. There's a lot of, like, pointing fingers and, like, putting labels and stuff. I don't know. It's a lot.
Do you feel like that
Why
with
can't we just
all the
chill
other
out?
ones?
No.
Really?
There was a point where I was going through them and I was like, I don't know, the lesbian ones seem very, very different from the gay ones. Like, the lesbian ones will, like, they'll do, like, a little story. They won't describe themselves at all during the thing. Except for they'll describe themselves. They'll, like, tell you so much about themselves, but you won't learn.
You don't know
like,
anything.
Yeah. You don't know anything about them, and yet they told you too much information at the same time. Whereas the men are just, they're just, like, list. They're like, my body is this, and this. I like this, and this. I want you to be this, and this.
Interesting. This is an interesting.
That was the impression that I got from
it.
a very small data set.
That's very true. But no, and yeah.
I see it in these ads very much.
Yeah, you could write, like, a 15-page paper, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or a 50-minute podcast.
Or a 50-minute podcast. Anywho, I'm going to move on to the next one. This one is from Lesbian Tide, Volume 9, Issue 2, from September to October 1979. That's the issue, you know. So this was published in Atlanta, Georgia. Once upon a time, a princess with yellow hair was best friends with the Black Crab. Then everything started to go all wrong between them, and they moved away to opposite ends of the countryside. Is this really the end of the story, dear Crab? Please write.
I loved this one. I thought it was so cute.
You'd swipe right? Well, I guess it's not even.
She's
not really asking
the thing
for
is she's, like, looking for one person.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I mean, you seem. Well, I'm interested. I don't really know anything about you besides you're yellow. You have yellow hair, but this is also speaking in figurative language about yourself. So if you're speaking, if this is a reference to a specific fairy tale about the princess with long hair and the black crab, then I really don't know anything. What is? Hold up. If we write the fairy tale about the princess and the black crab, what happens in this? How does that go?
Well, I feel like when it mentions of hair, I automatically just think of Rapunzel. So, like, there's a tower. There's a tower, there's a princess, and then there's a crab. Thinking very Sebastian-esque.
What if it starts out... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
What if it starts out like it's Rapunzel or whatever, like, she lets down her hair for the crab to come up. But then the little snippy hands, they chop too hard, and she starts getting a haircut.
Oh, no.
But she loves the look, and it turns out she's Butch, and she's been repressing that she doesn't like femme stuff.
Yeah.
And then she saves the crab.
What does she save the crab from, do we think?
The ground.
The ground.
She picks him up, and he's like, wow, I've never been up here before.
Right.
And then they sing A Whole New World, which is not copywritten by the Disney Foundation.
No, definitely not. But anyway, I was, like, thinking, so... would this be, like, a biracial relationship? It is, like, in Atlanta. Maybe they have an inside joke about crabs.
Oh, God! I hope
I don't know.
It's not about them having crabs.
I don't think it would be, but I think that maybe it's, like, a crabby, like, person, like a crabby woman, and then, like, a blonde other woman, and then they were best friends in, like... I don't know, it says that they're best friends, so that doesn't necessarily mean that this was, like, a romantic story.
That's true, but I feel like best friend
but it
language is so lesbian.
It is in the lesbian tide periodical, so someone's a lesbian here. Maybe both. There's
some gayness here for sure. I remember reading this, and it was so funny to me, listener. You, I don't know. I was reading this, and she was like, "Oh my god!" And then everything between them went wrong when they moved to the opposite ends of the country side.
Yeah.
So it's like, I thought they moved really far away, and I'm like, oh, are they just kind of like, instead of being like a couple minutes away, now they're like 20 minutes away?
Maybe
like,
they're, instead of
so
2 hours away, they're like 4 hours away. You know?
I mean, that would be a lot. That would make sense. I don't know.
And maybe it's just like a euphemism too, or not a euphemism. It's just like a part of like the story.
I feel like that was a moment where real life slipped into the story.
Yeah, like they moved away, and then
the black crab moved to Washington D.C. 5 hours away, and then the yellow princess couldn't afford the gas to go visit.
Yeah,
just like,
and
all of a sudden it's like,
Which like you bring up a very interesting point. Lesbian Tide was published in Atlanta, Georgia. How far does the Lesbian Tide go? Like, it could just be in Atlanta, Georgia, or it could
up
be
and down like 6 feet every 6 hours.
Right. It goes in and out. And,
yeah, exactly.
You know, it can be low or high.
It can be middle too.
Maybe they're a lesbian. Maybe it was just like it's something that is like a national. Or maybe they were literally just moved to like different sides of Atlanta.
Well, they said countryside, so I feel like maybe roughly the same area of like northwestern Georgia.
That would make sense.
I don't know.
I don't know much about Georgia other than it exists.
The details of this Q for Q are left to time alone.
Yes.
What are we, mere mortals, to know?
Next ad.
Meet Jane, you Tarzana. Hear the drumbeat of life and dance with me in the moonlight. GWF 33. Femme.
Gay white female.
Tall. Blonde. Green eyes. Call me. She doesn't say call me, but it has like a little phone.
Yeah.
Proto emoji. I guess it's kind of like an emoji, but it's a newspaper. But it's a little rotary phone thing.
They said so she must have subscribed to like a lot of papers at this time. When is this? The 90s had a call-in option where you could like set up a little voicemail through the newspaper.
And I guess that number is like an extension.
So that would be, like you call the Southern Voice April 21st and 27th, 1994, and you call Southern Voice 1340, and then you pick up and you can say, hi Jane.
What's up, Jane? It's me, Tarzana. I was just wondering if you still had my bra that I left over last night, like...
Yeah,
it's one of my favorites. I wear it a lot, so just like I mean, normally I wouldn't really care, but like
we just danced too hard in the moonlight.
We danced so hard that my bra fell off.
Yeah. So this one, like the first one, costs different. Oh, like all ads, costs money, but this one costs money per word, and as you can tell, it's very short. So for this, it costs about $3 at minimum for 20 words, and I did the math for everybody. It was 24 words, and every extra word is 50 cents. So this woman spent the whopping price of $5. She spent $5 to put this ad in, and I'm sure she got like some good shit. I thought it was very creative.
I think bang for buck, this was by far the best ad. Yeah. By far. Me, Jane, you, Tarzana. 4 words. So much has been said. Like, I've learned... Like, it's so easy to visualize what she's looking for, you know?
Yeah. She said, I'm femme. And you
are Amazon.
You are Amazonian. You are going to pick me up with your arms, maybe sling me through some trees.
Yeah.
Some people like that.
I mean, I like vines too, unfortunately.
And then she also really talks about who she is as well. She's gay white female. She's 33, femme, blonde, and has green eyes.
It's such a focus on visual details.
Yeah,
a lot of these focus on like
they really do.
They focus more on like physical things than like, well, maybe not more, but they they focus a lot more than I ever would on like describing how I am physically, rather than like, what are you going to talk about?
Listen, she only had 24 words, but no, I get what you're saying. I'm wondering if she is more looking for like a physical relationship as well.
I mean, me, Jane, you, Tarzana,
and even like
Tarzan can't even talk.
Tarzan can't talk. He's solely there as eye candy.
Like, parts of his brain have not developed. Like, he doesn't understand... He does not understand, like, syntax. Like, because he grew up around monkeys.
That's what she's looking for, a monkey woman.
Just, ooh, ah, ah. Let's zigga, zigga, ah.
I like that.
And
I think it is a very interesting take on, like, the butch-femme dynamic.
Yeah!
Apparently, well, Jane, obviously, femme. Tarzana, I guess, is butch. And even, like, so, like, when I see things, and maybe it's just also different times. So, like, right now, it's, like, a lot of ads in this paper are, like, call me. Calling it feels, like, very much less intimate than, like, writing a full-on letter to someone.
That's true.
So, but also it's 1994 versus, like, some of the other ads are, like, earlier.
That is interesting to think about, like, how you would write for, like, anticipating a callback versus anticipating a letter back. Like, what kind of details you give. Because, like, if you're anticipating a letter back, like, for this one, what are you going to talk about? You know, like, you're going to talk about how you are also tall, blonde, and to age 33. I don't know.
Right.
And, like,
it's kind of like, hey, you want to meet up?
And the letter, there's so much space to fill. You can be like, I like fast cars too. That is someone in the future. Spoilers.
You keep spoiling.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Okay, so
there is some juicers at the end, dear audience. There are some juicers. Don't leave.
Would you swipe right? Meaning you want them, left.
Just like, I'm just taking into the fact that these are like 1994 and like earlier, and like, I am transgender, as they say in Sweden. Like, I don't know how they're going to react to that. But that being aside, like, I'd swipe right. Let's have some fun. I'd probably fit into her thing, and I'll just, I don't know. We'll see if that, if I'm okay with that or not. I can pick her up. I am tall. I'm like a little Goliath.
I get, like, historicity, but also, like, let's bring it to the present. Let's, like, in our best.
Right.
In the best circumstances.
Assuming that, like, I am not. Well, it's just about whether I would swipe on them. I swipe.
Yeah.
I swipe right.
You swipe, and then they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Tarzan is fun. This sounds fun. I'll dance in the moonlight.
June 13th, 1980. This is published in Denver, Colorado at this time. Prince Charming sought slender, masculine, idealistic, 6-foot white man seeks a prince, 23 to 33, tall and well-muscled, to carry me off into the sunset. Horse optional. Enjoy music, fast cars, science fiction, touching, beers, and hairy bods. If you're my prince, write RSB at this P.O. box in Denver, Colorado. Photo, please.
I love this one!
Did you swipe right or left?
Left, because I'm gay.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, I would swipe right. He sounds fun.
I love this one. Like, person, swipe right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm also dating someone, so it's like, it'd be a little bit, a little bit goofy. Yeah.
But, what are your first impressions of this?
Okay, my literal very first impression was Prince Charming sought. Like, why not put seeking Prince Charming? I was like, active versus passive language. And then I was like, how about something more interesting?
No, I like that.
You like that? Because it is funny that you won't say, I'm seeking Prince Charming, saying that you, the Prince Charming, are being sought by me. Which is so roundabout.
No,
I don't know.
It's about, like, how they feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
The agency in that, I think, is I like thinking about how people use syntax and language. I think it's really fun. That's what I was really into in Latin.
No, I like this. I like this a lot. This is what I'm missing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could get English class on this bean. I do love horse optional. Very cute. So just very cute and playful. I like that a lot. I also thought it was extremely funny that he was like, enjoy music, fast cars, science fiction, touching. Just a little poke.
Just a little pokes. Just, you know.
Oh my god.
Just a little, tender.
And then actually, zooming out very slightly, science fiction followed by touching beards and hairy bods is also funny. Because it's like, you can see where his mind is going. He's like, oh, music, fast cars. Oh yeah, I like science fiction. and touching and beards and hairy bodies. It's like
yeah, it goes from like very like innocently like platonic to like
and resting my head on your chest and kissing you and kissing you and kissing you and kissing you till you fall asleep in my arms. While we watch hit new film Dune Part 1, but the Part 1 isn't shown in the title, but it is not a standalone film, as you learn at the end of the movie.
Anywho.
That could be a segue into something I've written later, but anywho.
Oh, yeah. No,
or we could segue right away. Because my thought was like, okay, science fiction, Dune just came out. Mm-hmm. We can be the podcast that's just so in touch with the moment. Just hip with the vibe, finger on the pulse, you know. Like, I wonder, it made me think, like, who are the people that he would want to carry him into, I can just read my thing, I guess, but who are the people that he would want to take him into the sunset on a giant sandworm, you know, in hit film Dune, science fiction film?
Butthole worm.
Butthole worm. It does look like a butthole.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we are the hard-hitting podcast that can finally say that. I'm glad someone is finally brave enough to say that the sandworms in Dune do look like buttholes. I was thinking... Evocative. I was thinking he might be into... Is the actor Oscar Isaac? The Duke of House Atreides. Yeah. I feel like he'd like that. Mm-hmm. Or I was thinking the leader of the rebellion that he runs into. Jason Momoa! Oh, he would love... Oh my god, his name is
Duncan Idaho.
Duncan Idaho! Oh my god, my favorite drag king name.
Yeah, he even has like... Well, he doesn't have a horse, but he has a plane, which is kind of like a horse.
Yeah, it's science fiction horse.
He's a Prince Charming!
Yeah!
Riding
oh my god!
Dragonfly helicopter.
Yeah, dragonfly. I mean, dragonfly, horse. They're both Danimals.
Yeah. Back to the ad. This man is in Denver, Colorado. He could have a horse.
There is... Living in Denver, Colorado, there's a high level of horseability for the romantic interest.
What other things? I would swipe right on this man because...
I would swipe... The horse optional just kind of shows the playfulness. Yeah. This is the first time where the person is showing humor. The other ones have been really serious. I would swipe right.
I would swipe right because I like the language in it, but also I don't think that this man would swipe right on me because I don't have a beard. I'm not hairy. I'm not a prince. Well, I am a prince. I'm le petit prince.
You're a prince. But they would not put you that way.
No. Yeah.
Le petit prince. Ooh. Yeah. The next one?
Oui.
La prochaine. This one's a doozy. Are we?
It's a doozy.
So this is printed. Is this the newspaper or is this the town?
This is the newspaper. Point? Focus Point.
So the newspaper is Focus Point. A newspaper in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the year is 1994, but it's November 1994, so they're coming up on 95. Mm-hmm.
So it's like very near Thanksgiving.
Speaking like zodiacally, it's very cusp. It's cusp.
Oh, okay.
It's cusp 1994, 95.
Yeah. So it's like Scorpio going into what's in December?
Atreides. That's Dune.
No,
I don't know.
Anywho,
what's your Dune zodiac sign?
My Dune zodiac sign is Timothy Chalamet.
Oh. Focus Point in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The year 1994. The month November. The day we don't have the technology for that, and by we don't, I mean we do. It's the 17th. Like. The all too familiar ending to a classic lesbian western. The heroine and her partner are riding off into the sunset together, feeling completely and totally secure in each other's embrace. When the unexpected happens, her partner jumps off the horse and hysterically shrieks, "I've had enough! Let me off! I need space!" Now, what would you do to rebuild trust in a new relationship? I'd like to hear your version of the same story. Or, at least, some hope of future intimacy, despite former disastrous, but nevertheless memorable such breakups. That's not really a sentence.
I don't like this at all.
No, I am not! This is all caps. No, I am not looking for sympathy merely... Sorry. No, I am not looking for sympathy. Merely someone who is prepared to face the reality of ups and downs in everyday life situations. You must be 30 to 40 years old, be capable, loving, and smart, able to endure imperfections in another, and love your own imperfections as well. And maybe we can laugh at ourselves together. Sway back and all.
Such a red flag.
She really put it all out there.
So this is...
The baggage claim is full.
Baggage claim is full. Oh my god. You go to the airport, you could see all the, like, spinning around, like, baggage
it's just the same
rotisseries.
suitcase 8 times.
And...
all of it says this person's name.
So we have foreshadowed a little bit some of the future stories here. This is one of the ones where it's like, we have learned too much about this person, and yet we know nothing at all. Like, this is, I think, the longest one. Maybe the first one is a little bit longer. But this person has said 0 things about themselves, other than that
they're very traumatized.
The worst time ever. Well, the best time, and then the worst time.
The best time. Probably, maybe riding off into the sunset. I don't know what that means as a lesbian, though, because that could have been they shared 2 weeks together.
Also, people are allowed to break up with people. They're acting like the fact that anyone broke up with them.
She said, I had enough.
I mean, there is like, oh, if it's a lesbian, it could be 2 weeks. I feel like this person is just a little bit insane because her perspective is everything was going perfectly, and then the other person screams, I've had enough, let me off, I need space.
Right.
Which means they were not having a good time well before that, and it built up quite a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like they just didn't recognize anything whatsoever. They had no awareness.
And now they're gonna write about it in their local newspaper.
I wonder if this person, like, it was their first relationship as a gay woman.
Could be. It may well have been. Because I feel like
there's some late
sometimes
bloomers.
you hold on a little bit too long, and also late bloomers, and...
I'm sensing late bloomer story. That's just my vibe.
Yeah, I mean, she's looking for 30 to 40, so, like, if it wasn't her first...
toxic as fuck.
I'm also...
She could also just be toxic.
something toxic as fuck, to be sure.
I think first love's, like, you're absolutely devastated, but you maybe don't get as bitter as this person is.
Yeah, because you're like...
Bitterness suggests to me
cynicism
that they're,
of,
like, always wrong.
True.
Yeah.
True. And the sentence, so all caps is no, I am not. So the sentence is, no, I am not looking for sympathy. Merely someone who is prepared to face the reality. But
it's like
there's so much energy, and like, I'm just asking you to put up with the ups and downs of day-to-day life. Mm-hmm. And also my all caps energy of
I'm not looking for sympathy. It clearly you kind of are, because you put this out into the world. You put it in print, and now we are reading it 20 years later.
The no, I am not looking for sympathy comes in 2/3 of the way through this ad. Mm-hmm. First 2/3 are just her talking about her past relationships. Like, she
kind of like that's like the toxic gay.
She
like,
wants
stereotype.
her trauma to be seen.
Yeah. Bigly trauma. No, this is what therapy is for. You don't put it in a newspaper.
In the newspaper ad. Mm-hmm. And I do wonder, this is quite long, so I'm guessing it's probably a similar situation with our first Q for Cure.
It is not.
It is not.
No, do you want to know how much she spent on this ad?
Please give me the biggest glean into the huge coffers of this messed up lady.
So I want to first start out by the first 25 words are $20.
What?
So that's a lot.
That's like 100 words.
Minneapolis should not be that expensive, but that's what it is. So $20 for the first 25 words, so then 50 cents additional. Do you want to know how many words? 156 words she spent on this ad. She spent $82.50 on this ad.
In 1994 money, that's like 30, 40, $50.
I didn't do the inflation on it.
No, exactly, but it's like, oh my god.
She probably spent the first $20 just describing her ex in, like, that relationship. Mm-hmm. This is fucking insane. Also, sorry, insane isn't a good way to... But also, mostly...
But, I mean, she's not setting herself up to be perceived as a healthy individual, right?
Right.
So, it's not overly cruel to call her insane, I feel like. Yeah, it's not fair. Inapt.
It's just...
to colloquially call her.
It's just... You know what's insane? It's insane spending $82, maybe $100 in that time to doing this. The thing is, usually I'm like, I hope you found your person, blah, blah, blah. Like, And I do hope this person found her person. I don't think anybody replied to this ad.
This is, well, obviously, I'm a swipe lefter on this one.
Yeah.
Also, the term sway back right at the very end. And maybe we can laugh at ourselves together, comma, sway back and all. Now, I'm going to yoink your notes.
Yeah, yoink my notes.
Sway back means an abnormally hollowed back, especially in a horse. So, like, as you said, it has like a big U back. Mm-hmm. You said that is unimportant in the notes. I think that's really important. Like, she views herself as someone who, I guess that means like kind of broken in a way.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, like, in the horse world what it means to be sway back, but
I think it
is. I feel like it means that they're
you can no longer ride them. You can no longer.
Yeah, at the very least, there's
or it hurts them to do so.
Interesting, because she set herself up as someone who is like, well, the last relationship didn't work because the other person didn't understand that there's normal ups and downs in a relationship. Mm-hmm. But now she's saying that no, I'm someone who's broken at the same time, which is kind of, there's kind of a conflict there. I feel like. Mm-hmm.
No, I would agree.
I wonder if this is like the one thing we learned about her, like, personality, like her interests, is that she's a horse person, and that comes at the very end, and it is an implicit fact, not an explicit.
That's very true, yeah. Anywho, so we're both swiping left on this ad.
Bigly. Bigly size large.
Yes. OutWeek, published in New York City, which means it was probably national. So this was published August 28th, 1989. Femme of Center, a gay white female, 47. Guinevere seeks lesbian Lancelot to bring me dragons to play with. Are you Butch of Center, non-smoker / drugs? Do you love animals? I will answer all responses. So, if anyone has seen that Sean Connery Knights of the Round Table thing, where Sean Connery is King Arthur and then Richard Gere is Lancelot, I loved that movie. I watched it in class the first time, but I was like, I love the dynamic. I love the triangle, and I love the woman. She was very pretty in this. I don't remember who she is, but who plays her. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I don't know. You may have thoughts.
I think it's very short and sweet too, and I think Guinevere seeks lesbian Lancelot is another powerful forward opener that I just like, and it just gives you so much information.
Princess seeks knight.
Yeah, it's me, Jane, you, Tarzana.
Yeah.
Guinevere seeks lesbian Lancelot. This is using the form very brilliantly of integrating fairy tales to give a complex image or idea of what they're looking for in so few words. Like they're like hopping on the fairy tale to give a bunch of like information to the other person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. And I feel like those two people, Tarzan and Guinevere, I feel like they're kind of crushing it in using fairy tales in the Q for Q medium.
I agree, and I would totally smush them together if they weren't both like femme people, like looking for some kind of. I mean, maybe like Tarzana. I don't know if that's considered like a butch thing, but like this is another like butch femme dynamic.
Yeah, Tarzana and lesbian Lancelot are two very different things.
Very
I feel like.
Different.
And now the way they've both set themselves up is that they're both looking for someone who is butch, but those two butch people are very different.
They are, but they're both very
they're both
noble-ish.
They're both very taking charge.
Yeah.
Emotionally and romantically in the situation, which I guess what my brain is thinking is like, I think it's a little bit tedious that it's like asking the butch people to be like the movers and shakers of the relationship instead of just like come save me, you know, like come
dance in the moonlight with me. But I don't know, because the fact that the Guinevere and Jane are setting it in motion by posting something.
That's true.
And I do think
maybe that's just a fantasy they want to play in, but in terms of the actual relationship, they'll keep it more even.
Right. No, but I'm thinking about like butch femme dynamics and how like in the 40s, 50s, whatever, 60s, a lot of like butch women were playing into a lot of like masculine stereotypes that might be a little bit more violent, and then like their femme counterparts were very much also taking charge in different ways. Like, I mean, it's like the same as like kings like run the country, but queens really have like the king's ear type of thing, if we're gonna go heterosexual about it.
Right. If we're gonna import the like the het language, I guess.
Yeah.
So this is Lauren's fun facts. This question has more question marks than any of the other ads. So it goes, are you Butch of Center? Non-smoker drugs? Non-smoker / drugs? Love animals?
So many questions. Yeah, you're right.
Which is not how other ads I've seen, like, they're just like, I want you to be this. I am this. The other person's, I like the questions. It's like, like, you don't have to be these things, but like, hey, do you like animals?
No, I do. You're right. I think
Butch
that
of Center, like, they seem like a nice person. And Guinevere seeks lesbian Lancelot to bring me dragons to play with. It's just incredible. It's just a great. I love that.
It's very. It's giving me very big Game of Thrones vibe.
Yeah, she's
like Daenerys
she's a nerd.
Versus,
she's a nerd.
She nerd.
I like that.
She want dragon.
She's just putting herself out there. She's putting a lot of her own personality out there, and I think that's awesome.
And she saves so much money.
Yeah, by doing a normal ad that isn't like therapy hour. Anywho, okay, next one. From the land of milk and honey, the omnipotent, omniscient lesbian mother goddess, out of pure benevolence from the depths of her bosom, created 2 virgin maidens in synchrony. One of them is you, and one of them is me. That's the first sentence. She vowed at the time of their birth that only when the 2 of them were grown and ready to take on the responsibility of a relationship, that they should meet and befriend each other. And then, and only then, would all of their insecurities, fears, and ghosts of the past be banished from the land forever. I am now grown and ready. Where are you? All caps.
This one is less fairy tale and more spiritual. And it's giving me fear.
I would like to point out, and this is just like, since some moments of this podcast, I suppose, have been very like English classy, like this is 3 sentences.
Oh no. This is so very powerful.
This is 3 sentences, and if we took away the last line, it would be 2 sentences. If we took away I am grown and ready, where are you? It is 2 sentences.
That's messed up.
This is a beast. My potentially ADHD brain can barely handle like getting in the middle of a sentence and just gets lost. Like,
yeah. No, you did a wonderful job.
Thank you
this
so
was
much.
Incredible.
The ellipse. There are many ellipses, by the way.
Yeah, ellipses.
And they sort of help, but they're like false islands for me to swim to. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, fear. This is so much to put on the other person.
Oh, we are definitely, we are soulmates. The goddess has divined us.
And not just any goddess, the omnipotent, omniscient, lesbian mother goddess.
Yeah.
Out of pure benevolence from the depths of her bosom, created 2 virgin maidens. Is that the only thing we know about her, is that she is a virgin?
She's a virgin. She's never had anyone before, and she is looking for another virgin who has never had anyone before. This is gonna go spectacularly badly.
This is the least information one also. I mean, we've learned, again, far too much about this person, and we still know nothing. Like, we don't know anything about how old they are. There's nothing about age. There's nothing about interests. There's nothing about anything. We know that they identify as a lesbian, because lesbian mother goddess. Other than that, like...
Oh my god. I forgot. This is from the same ad, actually, as the other Minneapolis, Minnesota one. The Focus Point. So this is Focus Point,
so this is Lesbian
November
Western.
11th.
This is Lesbian Western.
Yeah, so...
The same issue.
Same year.
No, it's literally the same one.
1994.
It's literally the
same issue.
Literally the same day. Yeah.
I do believe the length and the sheer desperation. I think that woman put 2 ads in this paper.
Oh, I see. That is your theory. Okay.
That's my theory.
Okay. I feel like those two, they're probably the worst and the best pairing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are like the same person. They are horrible. They deserve each other.
So they're either 2 people who definitely met and exploded, or it's the same person.
Is this the person who ruined lesbian westerns? Is she the one who needed the space?
She might have been the one who needed the space.
She seems like the opposite of that kind of person, but who knows?
I don't think she needed this, but also the lesbian western wouldn't have been a virgin because she obviously had dated someone before. Maybe not obviously, but she definitely has some kind of baggage, so it
seems
someone.
Extremely obvious.
So
because she says it.
I don't think they would go together at all, though, because
I
she's
feel like
looking for a virgin. But are we talking about virgin in terms of?
Well, I mean, they were virgins at the time of creation by the omniscient lesbian mother goddess.
Yeah.
Whether they are now or not, I suppose, is not mentioned.
That isn't. You're right.
I don't know. She seems to have mentioned it already, so I wonder if that's an important thing for her, you know?
Yeah.
Which is very
like,
interesting.
Untainted by something, or is it untainted by, like, having been with a man? Like, that's what I'm thinking of. Like,
because I was going to say, that's
virgin?
a very like, language thinking kind of thing, is, like, virginity.
Right. And I feel like in the 90s, and even maybe into the now, but I think less into the now, like, some do not want to date other women who have, like, had sex with someone with a penis.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, someone with a penis. Yeah.
Or in general, like, I think it's very, like, turfy, too, but, like, also, like...
Oh, there's so much built into that crazy mentality.
Things.
Like,
but
we could dig and dig and dig. Like,
if you have been sexed by a penis, then you're... like
spoiled.
No longer like a gold star. I don't know. So
yeah,
like
the gold
I
star
wonder if
lesbian
that's
thinking.
something that's similar to this, and I'm not putting this on her, but like
no.
when you use words, like,
I feel like we could read that into it, but that's like.
But it's not.
That is like way between the words, you know.
Yeah,
between the lines.
So anyway,
She says, "I am now grown and ready." Is she?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
She could have saved this for like the first date, which would have been a lot, to be honest. But
okay, but I mean. It would have been a lot, but comparatively would have been less.
It would have been less because if you put it in print, then people 27 years later will fucking read
fast
it.
Math. Nice work.
Did I do it? Did I do
it?
Yeah,
27. We're like 8 days away from the 27th birthday of this hell ad.
This ad is almost older than me. Oh, it is older than me.
It is older than both of us.
It's older than both of us. And you know what? I'm glad that this wasn't in my birth year because it makes me uncomfy.
Yeah. Oh my god. I hope she hears this and she's like cringing a little bit at herself. Just like in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Like in a healthy way. Just like seeing what she was doing in that moment. Not like I hope she views herself badly.
No, yeah, that's not
you know what I mean.
Because I could go back to MySpace, and I do consistently see my Facebook posts from years and years ago on this day, and it makes me want to die. Not die, but it is like, oh my god, why did you do this thing? Why did you say this? And maybe that's what she would experience too. So we love the goddess. We love her. We love.
I was going to say, I just saw the notes for the last one, and this is something I wanted to touch on. This is something that, like, you can see so vividly in her writing. It is, like, some serious daydreaming. Which is what I like to, which is, you know, the term I like to call for, like, when you're just daydreaming about being gay. And I think it's very common for people who are, like, a little bit, like, closeted or, like, aren't in, like, queer spaces a lot to just be, like, trying to escape to gay town in their brain, and I feel like you could see that pretty vividly in this one.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is worth keeping in, but like I just saw gay dreaming, and I'm a big fan of the word.
I do love a good gay dream. I think you're correct. I think that
I feel like you can see them gay dreaming about the other person because it's the setup of like this perfect life with their soulmate that the lesbian goddess made.
It's been foretold over centuries and destiny and shit like that. I'm
Yeah.
not cynical at all.
I see. What
But
you
I think
mean.
she also I think she recognizes it because she says from the land of milk and honey, and I just realized this right now because she's literally like, this is very like just sugary, like
Yeah.
what I like
She-
just anticipate for myself.
She
I
could
guess.
not have, like, it's not unironic. Like, she sees what she's doing
Mhm.
a little bit.
It's
But she
still
does.
weird,
she still
but-
does choose to make this her ad, right?
Yeah.
That's still insane. But there is a little bit of like she knows that she's like pushing it so hard, like the hyper idealism of what she wants.
Yeah, she knows that this is gonna be weird.
She knows that it's hyperbole, but she also wants it very clearly.
She's going to get someone, I think. Like, there
Mhm.
will be another lesbian who has this type of, like, land of milk and honey feeling.
This
So-
like hyper idealized view of
Yeah.
like how relationships are built up.
Right.
You know?
Which
I
is
think
why...
I think it's interesting how much of it is in third person, that they should meet, and that is the two of, because once she gets to the God has created two virgin maidens, she's talking about one of them is herself, and then she's like, that they should meet and befriend each other, and then and only then would all of their insecurities, fears, and ghosts of the past be banished from the land forever. You know what's interesting about this one? It's the only one that tells a fairy tale, I feel like.
Yeah.
The only other one that you could argue that for, I feel like, is the yellow hair and the black crab.
Mm-hmm.
The princess in the yellow hair with the black crab. Whereas in this one,
Yeah.
she's saying the ending, she's saying which one of you are in the story.
Ah, yeah.
Which is very interesting.
No, I like this perspective. Like, but that is, you're right. Those are the two that actually tell a fairy tale story. The rest of them just evoke fairy tales that we already know, but like in a sentence, but
Yeah.
not really.
Tarzan and Lancelot, they hijack the story to give information.
Yeah.
This one, she literally tells a new story and just says, someone get in here.
Mm-hmm. Get in here, be my...
One of you be in the story with me. Hurry up.
Yeah. Well, it gives me very, there's a country song that's like, every, like, red light led me to you. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't remember what song it is. But it's like, it's literally like, this thing, like, is foretold. Like, if I had never stopped at that red light, for 5 minutes, I would have never met you, even though your day pretty much resets, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I guess earlier in the day if he hadn't stopped at that red light. But maybe, I don't know.
No, but like fate and the feel and the experience of thinking of all your experience as guidance to this moment.
Thank you so much, Lauren, for being on my podcast. On the podcast with me, doing fairy tales. I feel like we got to learn a lot about each other.
Oh God!
A lot about the fairy tales that we both have seen or read about, and other people have seen and read about. Yeah, this has been a fun episode of dragons and crabs and
I love the
princesses.
theme. This was so much fun.
Yeah, no, I like that it was something that I could find a lot of.
Yeah, I like that for you too.
Me too.
I bet it's a pain in the ass to be like, oh, that would be a cool theme that I see in this one. Oh, I can't find it in any other ones.
No, luckily queers are very romanticized, and so they like to
think about it. They think about what relationship they want to be in for a very long time before they get to do any experimentation.
Very, very true. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe, follow, share the show anywhere you want. Rate it too, please. Again. Also, do you like tinctures and other herbalism things? Visit at Toadstool Botanicals. Please enjoy banjo music.